turn this down just a little bit. All right, your obedience opened doors your talent cannot. Your obedience opened doors that your talent cannot. We think about our talent, we think about, is it important to have talent? Yes, God has given us all abilities. Some of us are gifted in speaking, some of us are gifted in listening, some of us are gifted in math and science, and some of us are not. I smile at that. But whatever that talent is that you've been given, your obedience is what God's looking for. He's given you the talent and he wants you to use it. And he wants you to be able to do it to your fullest. He wants you to live that boldly with purpose on a daily basis. But if you are willing, and this is the verse, if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land. So this comes from Isaiah 1:19. If you're willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land. So Father, help me choose obedience today, not because it's always easy, but because I trust that you reward what you require. All right, so talent. Will take you to the door. It will get you in. It will be what others see and say they want you to be part of. But obedience will open it. We live in a world that celebrates gifting, that celebrates skill, that celebrates strategy and hustle as the primary currencies of success. And while none of those things are without value, because they are, it's good to have skill. It's good to be gifted. It's good to be able to strategize. And it's certainly good to hustle. But it doesn't mean that's what's going to make you successful. They are not the currency of God's kingdom. In God's economy, the door that matters most, the one that leads to the life he designed for you, is not opened by how talented you are. The one thing that you do that leads to life that is designed for you is not opened by how talented you are, how strategic you are, or how hard you work. And I think we know that, and we see examples of that all the time, of people that are talented, that people are super strategic, that's people who work super hard, and their doors are still not open. It is opened by whether you are willing and obedient to what he has asked you to do. Obedience is not the absence of gifting, it is the activation of it. It's actually activating your gift by you being obedient. Your talent is the seed, your obedience is the soil that determines whether it grows into everything God intended or remains permanently beneath its potential. So here's a great example here. Two equally talented communicators are presented with the same opportunity, a chance to speak to a room that could change the trajectory of their influence. The first prepares meticulously, every word crafted, every illustration polished, and every transition smooth. The preparation is flawless, but in the weeks leading up to it, they have been quietly disobedient in the area God has been speaking to them about. A relationship unaddressed, a confession unmade, a step of faith repeated, delayed. The second now person is perhaps slightly less polished, but they have been walking in quiet, consistent, obedient in the areas God has been requiring. They are not perfect, but they are submitted. And when they step into the room, something different happens. Not because of superior talent, but because obedience had opened a door that talent alone could never unlock. Right? So the story that I have here is I've learned this lesson more times than I would like to admit. I have prepared brilliantly. Well, I think it was brilliantly for things that did not open. I have showed up talented and skilled and ready and watched the door remain closed. And then in quiet, sometimes inconvenient way, always costly moments of obedience. And then in quiet, sometimes inconvenient, always costly moments of obedience, I have watched doors open that I had no natural explanation for. The phone call I almost did not make because the timing felt wrong. The conversation I almost avoided because the vulnerability felt too costly. The step I almost did not take because the risk felt too significant. Every time I chose obedience over comfort, over strategy, over timing, over my own assessment of what made sense, a door opened that my talent alone could never have reached. Talents get you ready, obedience gets you in. And so what's happening here in our science part of it, right? Research in behavioral psychology on what scientists call values congruent action. Behaving in alignment with one's deeply held values and commitments consistently shows that people who act in accordance with their stated value experience greater psychological integration, greater sense of purpose, and significantly greater follow through the meaningful goals than those who experience a gap between their stated value and their actual behavior. Psychologists call this gap value behavior incongruence. And studies show it produces chronic low-grade psychology stress and drains the mental and emotional resources needed to have peak performance. Obedience to God is not just spiritually right. It produces the psychological integration and mental clarity that talent deployed without obedience never can. And am I absolutely here saying that talent doesn't take people a long way? It does. There are some very talented people that you know of that you could probably list the name of 10 or 11 right now. Incredibly talented people with some pretty jacked up lives. Oh, we think about our world of Hollywood, right? Our world of actors and actresses. We would think about our world of athletes, incredible talent. And some have not figured out the obedience part of it. So our heart connection today, talent gets you ready, obedience gets you in. I love that. Talent gets you ready, obedience gets you in. And no amount of gifting can open the door that only obedience unlocks. So the invitation here is, what is God asking you to be obedient in right now that you have been delaying? And what door might that obedience be standing between you and? So the practice today, identify one specific area God has been asking for obedience that you have been delaying. Write down what the obedient step looks like, specifically and practically. Then take that step today. Not when you feel ready, not when the timing is perfect. Today, and pay attention to what begins to open in the days and the weeks that follow. I just thought of something, I had to write it down, right? A short prayer. Father, I choose obedience today in the area where it's easy and especially in the areas where it costs me something. I trust that you reward what you require, open the doors that only obedience can unlock, and help me to stop standing outside them. I was unwilling to pay the price for what step you already told me to take. Amen. And so the blessing today is, may your obedience today open doors that your talent has been standing outside of. And may what God releases through your willing and your obedient yes exceed everything your gifting alone could never have produced. What area of disobedience or delayed obedience might be standing between you and the door God has been trying to open? How has the past act of costly obedience produced an opening that talent or strategy alone could never have created it? And what would it look like to choose obedience over comfort in the specific area God has been speaking to you about most consistently? I'm going to go ahead and put these in the chat so that you will have them. There we go. It is all there. And then how are we going to live it today? How are we going to live it today? Your talent is real, your gifting is genuine, and your preparation absolutely matters. But none of these opens the doors to that obedience opens. God does not reward the most talented. He rewards the willing and the obedient. And somewhere between where you are right now and where God has been calling you to go, there is a door. It is not locked by your lack of talent. It is not locked by your lack of preparation. It is not locked by your lack of strategy. It's waiting on one thing, the obedience you already know you need to give. So why not just give it today and watch what doors open? Watch what doors open.